here we go. Kind of start over again. Oh, so I said hi. So I said hi to Doreen. I love watching you jump on the weekends. Hope you're doing well. Just talked to Chris Akagi this weekend, if you remember her. Anyway, here we are. So Sunday is one of my favorite days to jump on because this Sunday is actually a great day to fool many of you because it's a day of rest. And what I generally chat about on Sundays is this simple matter of if it's your day of rest. It's funny. Do you think of that as a day off, or do you think of that as a day that's just as intentional as Monday through Saturday? I hope that you think it's just as intentional. And I'm going to say, I hope and pray with my heart. And why my heart? Because it's February. That's Valentine's Day. That's a big old heart. Big day of red. You get older. That's right, Doreen. You need a watch with a bigger face on it. Big day of red. And that reminds me, that's my anchor. If you don't know what an anchor is something that you have, like when you tie something around your wrist or your finger, and that reminds you, and that anchors you back to a feeling, or you could be a responsibility. I use it to bring me back to the place where I can be productive, where I want to be. So you could even have that anchor be like, I've got one of my bedrooms is designed all around Africa. Jen did that for me. It's amazing. And every time I step in there, I think, oh, I got to get on the calendar. I got to get it on the schedule. That'd be a good one, Robert. Get that thing on the schedule. Take this show to Africa. Need to do it in June or August. So anyway, so when you head into Sunday, a lot of people think, oh, Sunday's the day off, which that may be, but I believe that your day of rest is just as important, if not more important and integral, and it takes intentionality to pull it off. Because as each and every one of you know, when you're working out, it's the rest that rebuilds you. When you're want to use your mind all day or all week, it's the rest that renews you. It's water that renews you. It's fresh air. It's peace. It's fellowship. In fact, you've got to choose what renews you. So I'm going to pound. Sunday should not be a rat race, even though you're off work. It could be a rat race of chores and of phone calls and going here and going there and seeing this person. And so it's not a day of rest and recovery. It's not a day off. You may not go to your work, but is it actually a day when you're renewed? And that's what I want to chat with you about a little bit is it a day that you've intentionally on Saturday set up to be rest? Now, the cool thing about that is a lot of it that you'll go through, maybe your kids' sports, or you got to do an open house, there's just something that needs to be done. You can still roll through that, but with the right mindset, that can still be part of your recovery. So Sunday, you choose how to recover, but remember, you're not going to rock and roll on Monday through Saturday. You're not going to be at your very best unless you purposely recovered. So I like to get my grocery shopping. I like to get my house chores. I like to get my laundry. I like to get my work stuff set up all on Saturday. And then Sunday, what's up, new follower? They're 575. Thank you very much. I'm not sure who you are, but I'll tell you the same thing I told you. If you see myself, just like I just talked about church, as an integral part of your routine, another tool in your toolbox, that's all I'm trying to be. I'm not some guru. I'm not some motivational speaker. I'm not sure. All I know is I've been here and presently in most areas of my life by the worldly status, I'm here. And so all I'm doing is sharing with you what I did, and hopefully you'll pick up a nugget, you'll pick up a hack, you'll pick up a tool that you go, oh, wow, that'll work for me. And then what you'll say is, because I want my friends to be better, I'm building a community. Oh, hey, Bobby. Then I will share. Just share with your 3 or 4 BFFs. Okay? My entire community, Doreen's real estate business, my mortgage business was all built on a couple and a couple more and a couple more and a couple more and a couple more. And it just kept growing through thick and thin. Does that make sense? So I hope that you'll share, and then we just spread the word. And again, what will happen is you'll grow. As I add more tools to my toolbox, and am more intentional about utilizing those tools on projects that are on my to-do list, then wow, what happens? That's when you go from a 580 FICO score to an 800 and some. You go, or whatever it is, maybe it's only 750, but it gets the job done. Or you go from, an income with $40 in your pocket, or maybe even like I did, was driving a friend's car and having a couple cool cars and just sold a third one, and blah, blah, blah. But we can talk about this later. None of it's guaranteed. Tomorrow's guaranteed to no one, and none of it's guaranteed that you're going to keep it. So we chat about this more during the week. From your heart, which is our theme for February, that's where you've got to get to the gym and grind. You've got to get to your work and grind. You got to be in your relationship and grind. And on Sunday, your day of rest, you've got to have that same grind. Yes, you've got to grind away. Be intentional about rest. So here's a couple thoughts I want to share with you. I want to shout out to, here's a couple of things. This is actually strictly business. If you're in my ketone and keto business, people, new flavor drop, right? There's a couple new powders. There's a couple new keto ups. It's funny. I love asking people, new flavor drop. What are you going to do with that? Oh my gosh, I'm going to drink it. I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to drink it. I'm going to say it. Wrong. Kind of. Just teasing mostly. There's no wrong. But if you're going to grow a community, you're going to grow a business and make some dollars, Johnny Mac, it's all about sharing. Okay? So what I'm going to do with that flavor is I'm going to utilize it and say, hey, new flavor drop. Who wants to try it before you buy it? Everybody wants to. Come on, really? You want to spend $100 on a box? Or you want to try it first? You want to spend something on the keto up? Or you want to buy it first? So Johnny Mac and Carol, what we want to do is we want to simply put out a post on our social media. Put it out tomorrow too. Put it out tonight. But also, Johnny Mac, each and every person that you've signed up, you want to go and send them a personal message saying, hey, new flavor drop, would you like a sample before you make a decision to buy it? Lots of them are going to say yes. Then what are we going to do? For many, we're going to turn that into a couple tasting parties. We could have one Tuesday night. You could have one Thursday or Friday morning. You could have one in the afternoon. Now you've hit 2, 3, 4 people at each of those tasting parties, and total you've impacted 8, 10, 12 people. So you imagine my community, if I've got Alicia and I've got Johnny Mac and I've got Terry and I've got Bobby and I've got, then what I can do is imagine if each and every one of you impacts half a dozen people. That is massive. Massive. But it'll never happen. Here we are chatting business on the day. Never happen if that invite isn't put out there. So Johnny Mac, you had Tuesday's event. You also shared your guys' trip to San Francisco. Now there's another way to attract attention, which is the tasting party. Now I'll just hit this real quick because it's my favorite subject. If you recall, people, like I had Saturday morning, I'm going to commit to that, is Saturday morning Starbucks meetup. Well, wow. What happened there? I had 2 or 3 friends who gathered with us, who I impacted them specifically, but there was a group from Ramona who was doing a health fair. Holy cow, about, half a dozen different people were floating around the coffee shop that I knew. So not only did I have my 3, but I had that half a dozen. A couple of them had used ketones. And a couple of them may be new to ketones, and a couple others are going, who are those people? So then when I do it again on Friday night, and I keep rolling swag, shaker bottle, live, Zoom, tasting party, meetup at Starbucks, and I keep doing more activity that pulls 2 or 3 people, now you have massive action. Now, I hear somebody saying this, so I'm going to share it. I don't have time to do, I got soccer on Saturday morning. Stop. It's not what you can't do. It's never what you can't do. It's never who didn't show up. It's never Johnny Mac who said they were going to show up, but they didn't. It's always who did show up and what activities can I do. Does that make sense? It's always my fitness that many of you see and and compliment me on, which I appreciate, is built on the workouts I did, not the workouts I didn't do. Does that make sense? So the more that I schedule in, one of my mentors, one of the first things they taught me is fill your calendar with activities that are directly related to where you want to be. Not activity that is directly related to where you want to be. Does that make sense? Because then when you do that, the outcome that you're going to have, the action that you're going to take specifically, is growing those areas. And I hope and pray that you'll choose your foundation, not some new red watch shopping. That thing's huge. Not some new art, not some new stuff in the art, not some new stuff that's just stuff. I'm hoping that you'll choose foundational truths and fundamentals: faith, fitness, family, friendships, and finances. Because once you have that base set and secure, now you're ready to go take more action. Shannon, I'll see you at 2:45. Shannon can tell you, because she's been around me for a long time. We purposely choose to meet in places where we're going to see and know people. Why? So we can grow our businesses, so we can grow our community. Okay? But remember, you've got to have faith and belief that a couple people from Starbucks, a couple people from your tasting party, a couple people from your dessert night, a couple people from your swag, a couple from your live, a couple from your Zoom, a couple from your text, a couple from your call, a couple from your voice message, a couple from your video, a couple from all these things will be massive, including that rest that you made way for, that you were intentional about on Sunday. So Johnny Mac, the rest of the crew, post your tasting party. Also personally invite the last whatever, the people you signed up in the last 6 months, 10, 20, 30 people. Invite them. And ask what? Ask your crew to share it. Now you've got massive. Okay? So I'm going to let you go. We're just quick chat today. I'm going to put some clothes on and go to church. That's going to be an intentional piece. I did my reading this morning, which I didn't even sharing it with you today, which I really don't do that. Because it's what's cool, and I'm trying to show you this circle that I've created. This is the 12. Is that right? I think it is. Let's just say it's the 12. Yeah, I think so. Anyway. This is interesting. So in this case, because we're studying our faith and we're talking about this and trust in the Lord, is yeah, 12. Anyway, that's crazy. So this is important. It talks about obeying whether you like it or not. Okay. Accepting what he allows to come into our lives, whether we understand it or not. Trust him in all things that work for good. That took me back to when I was out in the East County, renting a room, $400 a month from Maria Jenkins, great friend of mine. She took me in. I couldn't even afford it. I thought, man, how was I driving a friend's car? Couldn't afford $400 in rent. I saw stuff on the horizon, but it was tight. I went to Shadow Mountain, I believe it was, every Sunday. Here's my point. People, when the chips are down, push in closer. I mention this every time. Majority of my leaders whose incomes have dipped 40, 50% never contact me. They don't have to work with me, but who are you pushing in closer to? It's amazing how many people. Do you know how your fitness, your marriage, your budget, your career, your faith got out of whack? By burying your head in the sand. When you're down, you go to the gym more. When you're down, you go to church more. When you're down, you read more. When you're down, you hang out with those people who are going to bring you up. I didn't feel like it. You don't have to feel like it. It's just your life's going to head in the wrong direction on a slow fade. Okay. I jump on the scale every morning, up a couple pounds. Now it's time to do a little extra starving. No, you can't starve. I'm just kidding. Up a couple pounds. I'm going to do a little starving and take that weight off right now. Something came up with the truck, a little extra spending. Going to cut back in a couple of places. Going to recoup that money right now. Putting your hand in the sand, ready from leaders, back to where you are, putting on your mask and hiding. And I won't check that too much because it is the day of rest. It's going to get you nowhere. Watch what your leaders are doing. Are they Zooming, Aunt Terry? Are they showing up? Many of them are not. Many of them are not. It's because they were showing up when it was good, but they're not showing up, in this case, to your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, when it's not going that great. That's the most important time to show up. The most important time to show up is when things are not going where you want to. Put on your armor, you gather up your crew and community, and you head to what you know is good, is going to be a base and a platform for you to move forward on. Okay? Putting your head in the sand, not looking at the scale, not looking in the mirror, not looking at your marriage, not looking at your budget, not looking at, going to get you nowhere. Anyway, I'm going to jump off. Love each and every one of you. Trying to get dressed for church. Hope you have an amazing Sunday. Be intentional about your rest.